Good morning, all. Anyone is there? Good morning, Tejasri. Okay, whether screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So, in previous lectures, we have seen how to write a VHDL code, how to synthesize it, and how to simulate it using a Xilinx tool. So, for that, we have written a sample code for half adder using data flow modeling, behavioral modeling, as well as the structural modeling. And we have seen what is the differences in their implementations in these three different modeling styles. Okay. So today we will continue with the remaining topics related with the VHDL language. Okay. So in this first unit, we are concentrating on learning the different language constructs of the VHDL language. VHDL, it is one of the hardware description language. Its long form is VHSIC, hardware description language. That is a very high speed hardware description language. Okay. So next we will start with the Prashant, can you mute yourself? Okay, fine. So we have seen the basic building blocks like entity architectures. Now we will concentrate on next topic, that is the also the different modeling styles. So now we will see what are the different operators present in the VHDL language. See, you will find the similarities in between your C, C++ languages and this HDL also. The same thing, that operator, different operators, different data types, different statements you need to learn there. The same kind of things you can find here with somewhat differences, as this is basically used to describe the digital circuits only. Okay. So the operators that are available in VHDL are, the categories are shown here, like logical operators, relational operators, shift operators, adding operators, multiplying, and some miscellaneous operators are there. So we will see one by one a few examples of these operators. First one is the logical operators. We know logical, which performs the logical operations on the data. So those are AND, OR, NAND, NOR, XOR, XNOR, and the NOT. So these are the different logical operators available. We can make a use of these operators if you have to write a boolean expressions, right? So and or that perform a basic logical operations, and these operators are defined for the types bit and the boolean, right? Bit and the boolean. So in this case, bits will be having a value either 0 or 1, and boolean will be having a value of a true or false, and they will work, these logical operators will work on these kind of data types. Similarly, one dimensional arrays of a bit and boolean, so that will perform the respective logical operation on that one dimensional array too. Some of the examples that you can we have seen in the our code. If you have to write a boolean expression, you can make a use of these logical operators. Okay. So here you can write hi and j or k. So here you need to add the parenthesis also, NAND, NAND, NAND. So this is using the logical operators. Then A equal to B and E. See, these are the some incorrect, means which is not allowed, or what is the wrong in this case you can do. A, B, C, which are given of a bit vector having a size 3 down to 0. Okay, so 3 down to 0 means A, B, C are of a 4 bit, A, B, C are a 4-bit number. See here entity is shown, some part of the entity where you can finding the port, and there are the different ports with the respective data types. So ABC are a bit vector. Bit vector means it is a group of signals, right? So here ABC are of a 4-bit data. DEFG is of a 2-bit data, right? This is 1 down to 0. 1 down to 0 means this is a 2-bit. These are the 4 bits of a data. HIJK only bit is there, so all are the single bit data. LMNOP, these are the Boolean. Okay. So what you can see here, I, J or K is mentioned. I, J, K. So I, J, K are of a 1 bit only, right? So that you can do. So, but here you can add the parenthesis also, which operation you have to perform first, I and J or K. Fine. So again, next example shown, it is a MNOP. MNOP. Again, both are of the same type. So you can also include the parenthesis here. Then A equal to B and E. So what is B? B is of a 4 bit. E, what is E? E is of a 2 bit. So here B is of a 4 bit and E is of a 2 bit. So this is not allowed. A equal to B and E. Your operand size should be same. Okay. H is of a I or L. I is of a bit type and L is of a Boolean type. So if you have to use these logical operators in your statements, then data type of both the operands should be match. Okay. So that is the requirement whenever you are going to use these logical operators in your code. Next is the relational operators. Okay, relational operators, which is used to find out or show the relation between the two numbers, whether numbers are equal, whether one is less than, whether it is a greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. So these relations between the two operands can be defined or can be determined with the help of these relational or the conditional operators. So it is equal to, then slash and equal to, it is actually a not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. These are the relational operators. So equal and less than, not equal are the predefined for all the data types. Okay, it can be used for all the data types, and less than or equal to are defined for integer, enumerated, as well as the one dimensional arrays. So that you have already know how to make a use of these operators to find out the relation between the two numbers. Okay, or that can be the enumerated. So you, for that you can check it depending upon their positions. Okay. uh, then about the relational operators only, here no numerical meaning is associated with bit vector. Okay, bit vector, there is no any numerical meaning it has. It elements of a vector are just a collection of objects of the same time. Means here it is 1 1 1, it is not 7, but it is a set of 3 ones. Fine. For array types, operands are aligned to the left and compared to the right. So here 1 0 1 1, arrays of a different length align left. Okay, align in the left. So 1 0 1 1 and 1 1 1. This one will be the greatest. Next is the shift operators. Shift operators, this kind of operators also you have seen, shifting either towards the left or the right with a certain specific number of bits, right? So here SLL, shift left logical, shift right logical, SRL, shift left arithmetic, shift right arithmetic. See, there are two types of the shifting are shown here. One is a logical shifting and second one is the arithmetic shifting. Okay, we will see what is it. ROR, that is the rotate right and the rotate left. So rotating means simply shifting the bits from LSB to MSB, again from MSB towards the LSB. But shift left and shift right, here we there is a concern regarding the what value will get replaced either at MSB position or the LSB position. Okay, so we will see one of the examples of these shift operators here. Each operator, it takes an array of a bit or boolean as the left operand. Okay, left operand. Integral values as the right operand. Means on the left hand side, there will be either bit or boolean values, and on the right hand side, there will be the integer values. Why integer? Because it is telling you that by how many number of bits it is going to shift the data either towards left or towards the right. Fine. Let's take an example here. A is a bit vector equal to some number is shown 1001 0101. This is your A. Okay, this is your A. If A SLL2, see what is A? A is a one operand, okay, SLL is your operator, and second 2 is your another operand. So this left operand, it is always either a bit or the boolean values, and on the right hand side there is an integer value. So this is going to shift the your A number or A vector by two number of positions. Okay, so here shift left logical, it is a filled with 0. The shift left logical shifting towards a left. So this one will go here. Fine. So what will be here? The value 101, 0101, and remaining two values will get replaced with the 00. So in shift left logical, it will be filled with 0. Again, shift right, you can see here the two MSBs are a 0. So you are shifting it, and whatever either MSBs or the LSBs positions, those will be replaced by a 0 values. Okay. Similarly, there is a shift left arithmetic and shift right arithmetic. So shift left arithmetic here, if you are shifting left, then on this LSB, which bit will go? It will be filled with the right bit. Okay, it will be filled with the right bit. So what is that bit? It is a 1. So that one will be replaced with the this left LSB. Fine. See, means if you are shifting it by 1, 2, 3. So whatever the numbers or whatever the empty spaces will be created, that will be filled with the rightmost bit if it is a left arithmetic, and it will be filled with the leftmost bit if it is a right arithmetic, means right shifting. Fine. See on which side you are shifting. Okay, so whatever is the left side bit, that will get replicated at all those empty positions. Fine. And in the left logical shifting, there will be, it will be filled with only zeros. And in rotate here, a roll rol 3. So how many times it will we have to rotate it? 3 times. Okay, so 3 times after rotation you will get this data, and second 2 times rotation you will get the another data. So that you can do easily. ASLL, SRL, SLA, that is simply a shifting operations, and which will also include the rotation of the numbers. Fine. Next is the adding operators. Simple your arithmetic operators. We can see the two different categories are shown here. Addition, subtraction, and the concatenation. That is the ampersand symbol we use, right? So operands here can be one-dimensional array or the element. It works on the vector type only. Ampersand. Signal A. Signal A, std underscore logic vector. So 5 down to 0 means how much, what is the size of this A signal? It is of a 6 bits, right? BCDR of a 2 down to 0. 2 down to 0 means 2, 1, 0. How many bits are there? 3 bits. So BCDR of a 3 bits. Fine. So what we are doing here, we are concatenation. How it is done? B equals to, now 0. Okay, what is 0? This is your 1 bit. It is concatenated with C of 1. Okay, C of 1, as C is of a 3 bits, so C of 1 will be only, it can be of a one of the bit, either 1 or 0. Again, it will be ANDed with D of 2. Suppose it is again a 1. So what will be the B? B can be initialized with some part of C, some part of D, and 0. So what we are doing here, we are concatenating it. Okay. See, C bracket parenthesis 1 means what? It is taking a first bit. So it is nothing but an array. C is an array because it has a C has a 3 bits, right? So in case of your arrays, you generally write in this way, like C and square bracket you denote, right? Square bracket. So it is the element which is present at a first position, right? First index. So in this way, you are using the parenthesis only to refer the individual array element. Okay. And here A equal to C and D. So simply you are concatenating the two numbers together. So here your A will be of a 6 bits, right? C and D. C is of a 3 bits, D is of a 3 bits. You are combining the these 3 bits together. So total will be of a 6 bits. So your A will be of 6 bits. and these are simply the addition and the subtractions perform on your integral type of the numbers. Okay. Also, this concatenation operator we cannot use on the left of the assignment symbol. Left of the assignment symbol means like this will give an error. 0 and a less than or equal to b, this you cannot use. You have to use it on the right hand side only. Then the multiplication, under multiplying categories, you have a multiplication and division operator, modulus of modulus and the remainder. Okay, star and the multiplication and division are predefined for integers, floating point numbers. Modulus and the remainder are predefined for the integers only. Fine. So here you can get a modulus means after division, what is the remainder that you can find out. Then next, in the miscellaneous categories, the absolute value, okay, ABS operator, it has only one operand. So it allows defining the operand's absolute value. The result is of a same type as the operand only. Means if ABS of -2, what is it? 2. So that will be a same result. It will be of a same type. Similarly, double star, okay, two star, it is of a exponential operator. It is defined for any integer or floating point number. 2 double star 8, that is a 2 raised to 8, right? 2 raised to 8. 3.8 raised to 3. So this is the value. ABS of -1 is a 1. So these are the some of the operators that we can use in case of the VHDL. So generally for our simple examples, we need only few of these operands. Next part that we are going to focus, which is one of the important, as we have to write the actual statements of this VHDL. And for that, what kind of different statements that are important. So one is the concurrent statement and second one is the sequential statements. Okay, so these two categories we have to understand. So which are the concurrent and which are the sequential statements? As we know that VHDL, it is a concurrent language. So whatever the statement you write inside a code after a begin and before the end architecture, all are the concurrent statement. Okay, all are the concurrent statement. And the only way where you can write a sequential statement, it is a process block. So inside that process block, you can write down the your sequential statements. So we will see what in what different ways we can write a concurrent statements in VHDL. Okay, so one of the example is given here. X equals to x plus y means we are using the same variable to for the addition and we are storing the result into the same variable. So here x and y, we can treat it as a register location and the contents of x and y are added and the result is stored in the x. So that is the simply process shown for your concurrent statements, how they will be executed. Okay, but in case of this there is no implied register, means intermediate registers are not available. They will be directly added and here the feedback is described around that combinational logic. Okay, so in this concurrent statement, whatever the we have written that y equals to a and b, right? So this is one of the concurrent statement where I have used the logical operator a and d, and okay, less than equal to means what? This is assignment. Instead of only equal symbol, we always write a less than or equal to for this assignment or statement. Okay, so if you write five such a kind of a statements together, okay, if you change their position, then also the working of those statement will remain same. Okay, so they are position independent. If you write, if you have a five different concurrent statements to be written for to define the functionality, then still it will be if you change their position, then also it will not affect the operation of your operation of that particular circuit. Okay, so those are the position independent and they will be executed whenever the event occurs. Means what? Suppose I am writing in architecture after begin, I am writing some code. Okay, here it is a begin. I'm not writing a complete syntax. Okay, some of the statements are written as I say y equals to a and b. Okay, a and b. So when the execution start, and here the last statement is end architecture, the end behavioral, some name I have given. Okay, so now in this case, uh, when the execution starts, fine. In case of C, we know whenever you execute your code, the first line that get executed will, it starts from your main function. Okay, and from main it will be linked to the another functions, and once the execution of those functions over, it will come back to the next statement, and in this way there will be the sequential execution of your code. But in case of the VHDL, as I'm saying that it is a concurrent language. Okay, then when we can say that the particular statement starts execution, because here the structure of your VHDL code is like a entity, and then we write a architecture. Fine, entity simply defines or gives you the external interface, and architecture gives you the functionality. Fine, so whatever the statements you write in the architecture, okay, after begin, then all the statements will execute at the same time, depending upon, okay, when if I'm writing this single statement y equals to a and b in my architecture, then for how many times this is going to execute. Okay, so it depends upon whenever an event occurs on the signal on the left hand side, on the right hand side. Means if your A changes right now, suppose your A is having some value and B is having some value. Fine. This is my A signal and this is my B signal. So what I can say, A is 1 and B is 1. A is 1, B is 1. What is your Y? Y is also 1. Right? Y is also 1. So now in this case, this will execute. Fine. So you are getting y equals to 1. But what about next? So next, if your A changes, if at this point my A changes, but B is same. Okay. A changes and B is same. Then again that statement start their execution automatically. Fine. And then it will generate your new value of y as a 0. So, whenever there is an event on the right hand side signals on or this operands, means event means their value changes. If it is a 1, it switches to 0 or 0 to 1. So, if such a kind of thing occurs on any signal, then the respective statement starts its execution. Okay, this is true related with the your concurrent statements. Fine. Again, there are some of the subtypes of this concurrent signal statements. Okay, so which are the categories of this concurrent constructs? One, we can write using the when else, and second one is the with select. So these are the two clauses that you can use with this concurrent statements. One is a simple concurrent, like we have seen y equal to a and b. Okay, this is a simple concurrent statement. Second category that we are going to see, it is the when else as well as the with select. Okay, when else and with select. So in what situations we can use this when else clause or with select clause, that we will see now. So that we call it as a selected signal assignment statement. Okay, selected signal assignment statement, that is a when else statement. So here you can see one of the circuit is shown, which is your kind of a multiplexer, we can say, where 0, 1, 2, 3 are the four different inputs are there, and Z is output. So this Z will take one of the values of this A and B. Okay, one of the values of this A, B, or C, based on, suppose it is not shown. It got hang. Just a wait. So in this case, x and y we have to show, as there are four different inputs and one output is there. Fine. So four input, in order to select one of the input from the four inputs, so we need a two select lines. Okay, so those two select lines, suppose I'm saying one is a x and another one is the y, then depending upon the values of x and y, we will get the value for the z. Okay, fine. Okay, so here there is a x and y are there. We can say the two select lines. So here when z is equals to a, when this is a multiplexer. So for the multiplexer, we know that depending upon your select lines, either x or y, fine, you get the output z. So in this case, if your x and y are 0, 0, then we say that z will get the output which is same as the input a. If it is a 0, 1, then we say you get output b. If it is a 1, 0, we can say you will get output c. And for 1, 1 adds, here both 1, 0, 2 and 3, they are connected together. So c you are getting three times, two times, right, for the two inputs. This is the truth table of your multiplexer. So in this case, if you have to write it in terms of the Boolean expressions, okay, so you can and which is a concurrent statement. So here, how we have written here, z equals to a, means z will be initialized with the value a when 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 is a clause. Okay, when else is a clause. So you will find these two keywords here in this statement: when x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. So what is this and? This and is the logical operator which is combining the two conditions together. So in this we are checking whether x is 0 and y is 0. If both these two matches, then a will be initialized to z. Else other than that, means if x and y are not 0, in that case it will else b. So now instead of e, assign the value of b to this z. When so the condition for that b is given when x is 0 and y is 1. So if this condition matches, then b will be initialized to z. Else means otherwise c. So for the remaining all the conditions, so we can check here for 0, 0 and 0, 1, either a or b will be initialized to z, and for rest of the two conditions it will be initialized with a c. So else c, and then semicolon is there. So here you can find the semicolon is there at the end of the statement, so you can consider this as a complete statement. So this is one of the concurrent statement you can write using a when else statement. Okay, so that we have seen with the help of one of the multiplexer examples. So this is also fine. This is one of the syntax of the when else statement. Okay, after when you are giving the conditions. Okay, and in between that you are using the else keyword. A when x equal to 0, else b when y equal to 0, else c. So this is also another example you can write. Hang the Fine, same thing is they shown here, but for a different diagram. Uh, Next type. Okay, now then this selected signal assignment, another statement, that is the with select. Okay, another statement is a with select. First is a when else, and now we are seeing the with select. So what is this with select and how to make its use? in this particular case. So syntax is shown for the with select. So with is a keyword, and here expression you have to give, and select is another keyword. Okay. Target, that is your output, equal to expression 1 when choice 1, expression 2 when choice 2, expression n when choice 1. So kind of a switch statement you find in your C++. Okay. So we will see directly the example. So again, here you can see one of the multiplexer is shown, which is having a four inputs A, B, C, D, and two control lines, that is the select lines, control 0 and control 1, and Z is your output. Okay. So in the previous case, we have used the when else statement, right? When else statement. Now here we are using a with select statement. So same for same example, what will be the difference here? With control select. Okay, with is a keyword. Control. So what is this control? Control is your select line. So control of 0 and control of 1. So control is having a two bits. One is a 0 and another is a 1. Why? Because here we have mentioned it as a vector, right? 1 down to 0. So your control is of 2 bits. So depending upon this value, now Z equals to A. Z equals to A when 0, 0. So now this 0, 0, it is the value of the control signal. Fine. Then you can find there is a comma is there. Then otherwise Z equals to B when 0, 1. C when 1, 0. D when 1, 1. And 0 when others. So here we are mentioning the condition or the values of a control signal, and depending upon the value of a control signal, we are assigning the respective value to the Z, that is the output. Okay. The same thing that we have seen with the when else, we can also use here with a with select, which is again a concurrent statement. You can find here there is no any process statement written, so that you these you can directly write down inside architecture after the begin. Okay. So now again in this case you have to make sure that no two choices can overlap. Okay, no two choices can overlap, A when 0, 0 and A when 0, 1. So for those two choices you cannot initialize the Z with the same value. All possible choices must be enumerated. We have to include all the choices for that respective variable. Each choice can be either a static expression or a static range, either 3 or you can say 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. So in this case, it is means if we find that other than these four, if any of the condition occurs, then you have to initialize it with a 0. So when others means all the other condition except these four. Sometimes you can write two conditions, and for remaining two you have to initialize it a C, the previous example. Then you can simply write a when others. Fine. When others means all of those values which are conditions which are not listed here. For all those conditions, you will have a unique value for the output. Same with select is there. Another example, modeling of a multiplexer using this. Okay, so we have seen this concurrent statement. We have this seen already, half adder using behavioral modeling, how to write a if else code for that we have seen, how to implement a design hierarchy, that is a full adder using the half adders. Okay, this one, that is the component instantiation, which is again a concurrent statement that we use. So in the previous examples of a half adder, we have written a structural code. So in that we have declared the component and we have written a component instantiation statements, which is the concurrent statement. So that's why this is this is listed here. So component, it represents the precompiled entity architecture pair, and instantiation is selecting a compiled specification in the library and linking it with the architectures. So that we have done in the previous lecture with the help of that port mapping. So whatever the statement we have seen there, all those were the concurrent statements. So component instantiation, it is one of the concurrent statement that we have seen. See, you can check here how we have written a component instantiation or a simple structural code. You can revise it. So what is here? Component one AND gate is, sorry, one NAND gate is mentioned, right? So this NAND gate has a two input A, B, and C. Fine. So I'm writing down its entity. Entity ND4 is port in1, in2, in3, in4, in bit. Z is equals to output. So what is this? This is an entity where this design is having a four inputs and one output. Okay, four inputs and one output. Those four inputs are in one, in two, in three, and the in four. And output is a Z. Fine. So in this particular structure, what is there inside this block? We are having a three NAND gates, right? Three NAND gates. So all of these three NAND gates are having a two inputs and one output. So what we are doing, if you have to write down this using a structural modeling style, then what you will do, you will have a precompiled entity architecture pair for your NAND gate, and you will simply make an interconnection of those three NAND gates together. And that will form your this new design, which is having a four input and one output. Fine. So what we are doing, we are using the component of the ND2. So you can check ND2, it is the two input. This is user defined name. Just for understanding, two is the two inputs, four is the four input NAND gate. So A and B, we can find here A and B. Okay, two inputs are there and C is the output. So this component you are using, and how many times you have to replicate it? Three times. So signal temp1. So why here in between to this particular line, there is no any name mentioned. So what you can do, we can give the user defined name to that particular signal. Signal is nothing but a wire which is connecting the output of this first gate to the output of this third gate. Okay, this is first, second, or third. Just I'm giving you the numbering for understanding. So temp1, temp2, these are the intermediate signals which are not accessible to user, and they will not be present in your entity. Okay, so we need to define it explicitly. So signal temp1 underscore temp2 colon bit. So this is the declaration of a signal. And then whatever the three statement we are writing after begin, all are the concurrent statement, and those are nothing but the component instantiation. So you can see ND2, it is the name of the entity or the component, and port space map. Then A, where the A will be mapped, A is nothing but your in1, B is nothing but in2, and what is C? C is nothing but a temp1. So this is the instantiation of your first component. In the same way, for second, what is the input? In3, in4, and output is temp2. So that is the instantiation of your second component. And for third, which is your A and B, for this third NAND gate, which is A and B, A is your temp1, B is your temp2, and your C is nothing but a Z. So you can see A equal to temp, B equal to temp, and C equal to Z. This is the instantiation of the your third component. So in this case, you can use, see, the same three different statements are mentioned here. The meaning of these three remains same. So here in1, in2, temp1. So this is the positional association we use for this port mapping. Means if for ND2 entity, in1 means your first port mentioned in this entity, that is A, this is B, and this will be your C. So based according to position, that respective port will be mapped together. This second notation, we call it as a named association. Named means what? We are explicitly specifying where to map A will be mapped to X, C will be mapped to Z, B will be mapped to Y. So here, if you change the position, like if I shift this C map to Z to first and A map to X last, so then also it will be okay. So in named association, position doesn't matter. But here, in case of this, in one into temp one, position matters. Fine. And second, third one is the mixed mode. So make in mixed, uh, in one and in two, they are showing the positional association, and C equal to temp, it is a named association we can use for your component instantiation. So this is what a component instantiation. The next one is the generate, and after generate we will stop. So the last state, one of this concurrent statement, that is the generate statement. So what is the use of this generate statement? This concurrent statement can be conditionally selected or replicated using a generate statement. So creating a multiple copies of any block, that you can mention with the help of a generate. Okay, generate statement. How? Let's see. There are two forms of generate statements are there: for generate and if generate. Okay, two clauses: for generate, if generate. That is not a single word. Okay, two different keywords they are used here. Here the number of copies is determined by a discrete range, and 0 or 1 copy is made conditionally. So generate if means depending upon the condition, it is going to generate the number of copies. And for generate, it will generate the number of copies mentioned by your for loop. Okay, so here you can see label for identifier in range. So how many times you want to replicate it, so that will be here. And if the expression is true, then generate the respective design. Fine, let's see an example. See what is there here. Architecture, for name of the architecture given is a for generate of full adder. For full adder we are writing. So component is used, full adder. Now end component, signal C bit for it is the intermediate signal is required. So if one full adder is there, which is having a two input and one carry input, right? Two AB input and one is the carry input. So and there will be one out, that is your sum, and this will be your carry out bit, right? C out, and this is your C in. So this is my 4-bit adder, full adder. Now in this full adder, A, B, C in all are of a 1 bit, right? All of are of a 1 bit. But suppose I want to perform the addition of these two numbers, 1011 and 1100. So can we perform this using this single full adder? No, because here 4 bits are there. Using this full adder, you can simply, this is your A bit, this is your B bit, and if your carry in is there, then you can add that. Okay, so that is performing only this single bit addition only. So it is not performing the multiple bit addition. So for that, what you need to do, you need to cascade this four full adders together. So in this case, the same kind of a full adder, you have to replicate it, generate it. So in this case, you can make a use of this generate statement. So initially C of 0 for first full adder, your C of 0 will be of your C in, here C in. And for K in 3 down to 0, means 0 to 3, how many times you can replicate it? 4 times. So full adder port map, and you can simply showing which will be A of 0, B of 0, C of 0, C of K plus 1. That is the carry in and the carry out and the sum output. So these you have written. So with this, such a 4 statement will be generated, and which will generate your this complete structure. Okay, where A0, A, B and C in, and sum and carry out will be your output bits. Similarly, there is a if generate. So in if generate, what you can do here, if K greater than 0, means if some condition is true, then generate. Okay, then generate. So your then generate this D flip flop. So based on the condition, it will generate either zero or only one copy of the D flip flop. So with that particular code, this will generate this symbol, this cascaded structure of the D flip flop, which can be your counter. So here for first input is their count, and for second output of first will be taken as a input, clock input to the sorry, main input to the another flip flop. Okay, so this is the generate statement. Means if same kind of a structure you have to replicate again, then you can use the generate kind of a statements, and you can check they are written directly after from in between begin and the end architecture. Here also it is written in between begin and end architecture. There is no any process, so we can say it is the concurrent statement. Okay, so till this point, we have seen the different concurrent statements that are present in the VHDL. Then in the next lecture, we will start with the different sequential statements that we can write in the VHDL code. Fine, we will stop here today.